Stop here. Don't blink. Don't move. Don't even swallow like you're about to skip this. Your soul didn't wander here. It was brought. A door in the spiritual realm just opened, and whether you believe it or not, your name is written on the threshold. There are moments in life that look like coincidences, but in the spiritual dimension, they are classified as interventions. This is one of them. You were never meant to see this casually. Not while you're bored, not while you're scrolling, not while you're distracted. This is divine timing at its highest setting. Something, or rather someone, has been holding this message on the other side, waiting for the exact second your spirit cracked open just enough to hear what they've been trying to say. And that second is now. You feel that heavy, light pressure on your chest, that strange mix of comfort and warning, that subtle trembling inside your spirit. That's not anxiety. That's not imagination. That's presence. A presence that has walked beside you in dreams, through grief, through nights when you almost broke beyond repair. A presence that carried your name past the gates of heaven and whispered it to one being powerful enough to intervene when destiny bends, Archangel Michael. And he has stepped forward. Not symbolically, not poetically, but spiritually. You were pulled into this moment because heaven got tired of waiting for you to hear the signs gently, so they're speaking loudly now through this message. Don't move. Don't click away. Don't break the connection. If you lose this moment, you lose something massive that was aligning behind the veil. Let me go slow, because this was meant to be received slowly. Someone in heaven, someone you loved more than you admitted, has been restless. Not because they are in pain. There is no pain where they are. But because you are in pain, and you've hidden it too well. They watched the way your smile dimmed. They watched the way you pretend you're fine. They watch the way you cry silently when the world believes your strength is unshakable. They've seen the confusion, the emptiness, the strange heaviness that wraps around you during the night when the world is asleep and your mind becomes a battlefield. And they couldn't stay silent anymore. They asked Michael to deliver a message, not a comfort, not a blessing, but a warning wrapped in love. Heaven sees something approaching you, something that was never meant to reach your soul. A decision, a person, a moment, something disguised as harmless, but spiritually dangerous. You can feel it too, can't you? That nagging sense that something is off. Something is shifting in ways you can't explain. People acting strange, dreams intensifying, old memories resurfacing, random chills hitting your spine for no reason. You keep brushing it off. Stop brushing it off. Your loved one has been trying to block the incoming energy on their own, but they're outnumbered. The spiritual interference has grown stronger because your destiny is getting closer. That's why your life has felt so heavy. That's why your emotions feel louder. That's why you've been having trouble sleeping. It's not stress. It's spiritual congestion. and they cannot protect you unless you give permission. This is why this message found you. Michael speaks now, and when Michael speaks, every realm listens. There is something your spirit must know. The delays in your life were not random. They were shields, so that the wrong people would leave before your blessing arrived. Read that again. Your delays were shields. You keep thinking you're cursed. You keep thinking you're behind. You keep thinking God forgot you. But the truth is darker and holier. Heaven saw what you didn't. Heaven heard conversations behind your back. Heaven watched people pretend to love you while quietly resenting your light. Heaven saw hidden envy rising around you like smoke around a flame. And your loved one, the one who crossed over, stood up in the spirit and said, "Not them, not my person. Protect them at all costs." And heaven listened. That's why certain relationships collapsed suddenly. That's why certain opportunities vanished. That's why certain friendships turned cold overnight. You thought it was loss. It was protection. You thought it was rejection. It was redirection. You thought it was loneliness. It was isolation for elevation. You were not being punished. You were being positioned. But here's the part heaven is concerned about. Your spirit is getting tired. Your hope is thinning. Your patience is breaking. Your trust is cracking. And that weakness, that fragile spiritual vibration, is exactly where the wrong energies slip through. That is why heaven intervened today. This message is not random. This is spiritual rescue. Michael says, there is interference surrounding you, and your heart must give heaven permission to clear what you cannot see. Say this silently inside your spirit, not with your voice, but with that deep inner part of you that knows truth when it touches your soul. Heaven, I allow you to intervene. Good. You just opened a gate. Now let me take you deeper. There is a reason the person in heaven pushed this message to you today. You've been carrying something toxic, not physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. A memory, a regret, a guilt, a wound, a hope that died, a voice that still echoes, a moment you can't forgive yourself for. You've been dragging it like a spiritual weight, and heaven is saying, enough. Your loved one has seen the way this pain has shaped the way you speak, the way you trust, the way you love, the way you dream. They are not judging you. They are grieving for you. They know what you've lost. They know the betrayal you never talked about. They know the loneliness you hide from everyone. And they are here because a shift has begun. A shift that began the moment you paused instead of scrolling, the moment your breath stilled, the moment your heart leaned forward like it recognized the voice of heaven. Heaven is trying to warn you about someone in your current life whose intentions are not pure. Don't panic, just listen. This person smiles in your face, but their energy is inconsistent. They act supportive, but their spirit carries something hollow. They pretend loyalty, but heaven has already marked them as a distraction. Your loved one whispers, "They don't love you the way you think they do." You felt it too, didn't you? That tiny discomfort, that sudden confusion around them, that strange shift in their tone, that moment when something in your soul said, "This doesn't feel right." Stop ignoring that. Your intuition is not fear, it is communication, and heaven is amplifying it. Now breathe. We're not done. What I'm about to reveal is the core reason Michael stepped in today. Your spirit was about to close. You were about to shut down the last hopeful part of your heart. You were about to walk away from something heaven spent years aligning. You were seconds away from letting the wrong voice convince you that you're not enough. But the one in heaven who loves you interrupted it. They stepped between you and the darkness and said, "Message them, reach them before they lose themselves." That's why this found you. That's why your chest is tight. That's why tears are rising. That's why your spirit is trembling. This message is not entertainment. This is intervention. Now listen closely, because Michael's next words are not advice. They are command. The season of you shrinking yourself is over. The season of you dimming your light is over. The season of you begging for love is over. The season of you doubting your purpose is over. There is a frequency in heaven attached to your name right now. A glow that was dim for months is coming back. The person in heaven responsible for sending this is smiling through tears because they have been waiting for this moment. They whisper, "Please don't give up now. You're closer than you think." Read that again. Let it pour into your chest. You're closer than you think. Your breakthrough is not far. Your blessing is not distant. Your alignment is not delayed. It's approaching fast. But before it reaches you, you must release what has been draining your soul silently. Heaven cannot fill hands that are still gripping the past. Release it. Let it go. You don't need to fight the same battle again. The battlefield has already shifted in your favor. Now breathe. This is only the beginning. Feel the air around you right now. If you're honest, something changed since you read part 1. A heaviness lifted. A warmth entered. A strange clarity settled in your spirit, even if your mind hasn't caught up yet. That's how spiritual alignment feels. Quiet thunder. And what's happening now is not coincidence, it's continuation. Because the moment you opened yourself to heaven's intervention, a chain reaction began in the unseen realm. Michael didn't just speak, he activated something. Heaven didn't just whisper, it shifted something. Your loved one in heaven didn't just send a message, they opened a portal between their world and yours.
You're in a spiritual transition that people around you can't see, but they can feel. That's why their behavior has been strange. That's why conversations feel different. That's why your intuition is louder. That's why the atmosphere around you feels charged. You're entering a frequency your old life can't follow you into. Let me take you deeper to the part heaven insisted you must hear today. There is a spiritual deadline connected to your destiny. Not a threat, not fear, but urgency from the divine. Something in your life was supposed to shift months ago, but you weren't ready then. You were grieving silently. You were doubting yourself. You were surrounded by the wrong people. Your heart was too fragile. Your energy was too open. Your spirit was too tired. Heaven delayed your breakthrough to protect your becoming. But now you've reached the threshold. Your spirit has matured. Your soul has woken up. Your heart has cracked open in just the right way for transformation to enter. This is what the person in heaven saw the moment you softened enough to receive. That softness, that wasn't weakness, that was permission. Michael says, your elevation begins the moment you stop forcing and start allowing. You've spent years pushing doors that were never meant for you. You begged for love from people who couldn't love themselves. You tried to save connections that were already spiritually expired. You stayed where your soul was dying just because your heart was loyal. And heaven watched, not with judgment, but with grief, because heaven knew your future required people who could hold your spirit, not break it. And that's why so many relationships around you have been falling apart. Not because you're unlovable, because you're evolving. Your frequency is rising, and their intentions can't breathe at this altitude. Let's go even deeper. To your loved one in heaven has been watching someone near you with increasing concern. Someone who appears harmless, someone who acts kind, and who smiles when you walk in, but whose spirit sharpens when you turn away. They don't hate you, they envy you. Envy is silent poison. It contaminates without speaking. It destroys without touching. And heaven will never bless you in the presence of someone who secretly resents your rising.
Your loved one whispered, "They're draining you. They're dimming you. They're pretending. And the moment your blessing arrives, their mask will fall." You already felt something was wrong. You sensed the shift. You just didn't want to believe it. Believe it now. This message came because heaven is removing what you won't. Michael steps forward with authority. What falls away now was never yours. What stays was divinely assigned. Now listen closely, because we're entering the part heaven begged me to deliver
word for word. Your spirit has been exhausted because you've been carrying responsibilities that were never meant for you. You have been holding emotions that belonged to someone else. You've been trying to heal wounds that weren't yours. You've been trying to prove your worth to people who are spiritually blind. You've been overgiving to compensate for people who never intended to give back. Your heart is tired because it's been stretched beyond its design, and heaven says, put it down. Put down the guilt. Put down the false responsibility. Put down the secret pain. Put down the emotional labor. Put down the battle that wasn't assigned to you. You've mistaken loyalty for bondage. You've mistaken guilt for obligation. You've mistaken attachment for destiny. Your loved one from heaven is crying, not from sadness, but from relief that you are finally hearing this. They whisper, "You don't have to carry so much anymore." Now breathe, because the next part is the reason heaven is intervening so aggressively. Your destiny is being reorganized. Yes, reorganized. There are blessings being reassigned to you, opportunities being redirected to you, connections being guided toward you. People you haven't met yet have been spiritually briefed on who you are and why your presence will matter to them. Your name is circulating in realms you haven't entered. Your face is appearing in dreams of people you haven't met. Your energy is being recognized by souls aligned with your purpose. When heaven begins arranging destiny, earth begins rearranging people. That's why old connections are dying. That's why old desires feel empty. That's why old dreams feel too small. You are outgrowing the storyline you thought was your whole life. Your loved one in heaven is guiding this process, not from memory, but from mission. They've seen your future. They've seen the person you become. They've seen the life you live. They've seen the doors that open. They've seen the love that heals you. They've seen the abundance that follows you. They've seen the peace that surrounds you. And they said, "Give it to them. Open the way." Michael obeyed. He says, "The next 48 hours will be different. You will feel the spiritual shift. A strange calm will settle. A certain clarity will rise. A gentle sign will appear. A moment of divine déjà vu will hit you. Do not ignore it. That will be your confirmation that the veil has thinned and heaven is rearranging your destiny in real time." Before we close part 2, there is something your loved one has been waiting years to say. You didn't fail me. You didn't lose me. You didn't disappoint me. I never needed perfection from you. I needed your heart. And you gave them that beautifully. Now they want something from you. Not sorrow, not guilt, not regret. They want permission. permission to help you, permission to guide you, permission to intervene, permission to fight for your breakthrough, permission to stand beside Michael as your life shifts upward. If you're ready, if your spirit whispers yes, if something inside you is trembling with recognition, then say silently, I allow heaven to rearrange my destiny.
Before you read another line, pause, breathe, because what you're about to feel is not human, it's spiritual. This is the moment heaven has been trying to bring you toward for years, the final unlocking. If part 1 opened the portal, part 2 rearranged the path, then part 3 is the moment heaven steps into your life openly. This isn't a message anymore. This is a crossing. Something is shifting around you in real time. If you're sensitive, you can feel it. Your chest warming, your heartbeat slowing, your breath going deeper, the air feeling heavier yet lighter at the same time. Nothing about this moment is accidental. Listen carefully. Your soul is being rewritten as you read this. Your spirit, which has been exhausted for so long, is finally receiving what it's been starving for: connection, clarity, divine direction. And the one in heaven who loves you more fiercely than you will ever understand is closer than they have ever been. You may not see them, but you can feel them. That familiar warmth creeping over your shoulders, the way your eyes suddenly soften, the way your heart feels held. That's not imagination, that's presence. And now the veil opens. They are standing right beside Michael, and Michael has stepped forward with a message heaven refused to let you leave without hearing. He says, your destiny has been reopened. Let those words sink in. Not repaired, not revived, not patched, not salvaged, reopened. Do you know what that means? It means the plan heaven designed for your life, the one life tried to destroy, the one betrayal tried to distort, the one grief tried to swallow, has been fully reinstated. Everything that closed is opening. Everything that was delayed is accelerating. Everything that was stolen is returning. Everything that was broken is being restored. Heaven isn't giving you back what you lost. Heaven is giving you what was always meant to be yours before pain touched your life. But there is something you must know, and this is the core reason they begged for this message to reach you. Your soul has been carrying a silent wound, a wound that has shaped every decision you've made, a wound that kept you in cycles, a wound that made you doubt love, a wound that made you question your worth. This wound didn't come from your enemies, it came from life, from loss, from heartbreak, from sudden endings, from the people who were supposed to love you but didn't know how, from the moments that broke you while everyone thought you were strong enough to handle it.
You built your strength from your suffering. You built your personality from your pain. You built your walls from your heartbreak. And heaven watched silently because you needed to survive. But surviving is not living, and you have survived long enough. Your loved one in heaven steps forward now, and their voice carries eternity in it. They whisper, "It's time to stop surviving. It's time to start becoming." You felt that, didn't you? Because that was meant for your soul. Let me take you deeper. The reason you've been feeling emotional, the reason you've been losing old interests, the reason your circle is shrinking, the reason your desires are changing, is because heaven is preparing you for a version of your life you have never experienced before. A life where you are not the one always giving, but finally receiving. You are not the one always understanding, but finally understood. You are not the one always healing others, but finally healed yourself. You are not the one always waiting, but finally walking. You are not the one always hiding your gifts, but finally using them. Michael says, your season of spiritual starvation is over. Now comes the part that heaven asked me to deliver slowly, because your soul must absorb it like a seed absorbing rain. This is the final revelation. You were never meant to walk alone. Not one day, not one moment, not one tear, not one trial, not one loss, not one heartbreak. You were never abandoned. You were never forgotten. You were never invisible in the eyes of heaven. There was someone beside you every single time your knees buckled, every time you broke, every time you screamed inside your mind, every time you whispered, "I can't do this anymore." They held you. They guarded you. They prayed for you. They whispered your name into heaven with more love than you've ever felt on earth. And now, for the first time, you are spiritually awake enough to hear them. Michael moves aside and lets them speak through the veil. The person you loved, the one whose loss broke you in places you never talk about, whispers with the gentleness of eternity, "I never left you, not even for a heartbeat." Your eyes might be stinging now. That's your soul recognizing truth. This is the part your spirit needed most. You didn't fail me. You didn't disappoint me. You didn't lose me. I was never lost. I simply went ahead to prepare what you're about to receive. Heaven isn't giving you closure. Heaven is giving you connection. You think you miss them, but the truth is they've been beside you all along. Now comes the final sequence, the one Michael says will activate everything that has been prepared. Repeat this quietly in your heart. I am ready for the divine alignment meant for my life. Good. Now the final message. The door you feared is opening. And this time, you will not walk through it alone. The person in heaven will walk beside you. Michael will defend you. Heaven will guide you. Your spirit will rise. Your path will clear. Your blessing will arrive. Your destiny will unfold. This isn't a new chapter. This is a new lifetime. You made it this far. You survived what tried to bury you. You heard the message heaven fought to send, and now your healing begins. Your blessing begins. Your purpose begins. Your new story begins right now. This is your divine turning point. This is your spiritual rebirth. This is your sacred beginning. Walk forward, not with fear, but with flame. You are protected. You are chosen. You are guided. You are rising. And heaven is watching proudly.